If you're ready to get your entire 2026 content calendar planned and done, I'm gonna show you exactly how. Because the truth is, you already know that the right content is how you can attract the best customers who value your expertise the most. But most people think that content creation just wastes time that they don't have. What none of them understands is the businesses creating the best content are actually spending the least time on it. They're just using a planning system that completely flips how content creation works. In this video, I'll show you the exact planning system that lets you map out an entire year of content in about an hour, the AI-powered method that generates perfectly researched topics in minutes, and the planning trick that saves me days every single month. I've created over 500 YouTube videos, 300 podcast episodes, and more blog posts than I can count over the years, and I credit all that content with building my business to the 7-figure mark it's at today. And this is the system that allowed me to do all of it without burning myself out. It's also what I teach inside my paid program, the YouTube to Clients Academy Experience, so this is gonna be some really solid free value. All right, so when I say content, let me be crystal clear about what we're talking about here. I'm not talking about posting random thoughts on LinkedIn or churning out those daily Instagram stories. I'm talking about one weekly piece of long-form content that actually moves the needle for your business. You have to start with that long-form content piece first, then you can chop it up into those smaller pieces later if you want more mileage from your content. To start, you need to know what kind of content you should be focusing on because getting really good at and dominating one format is the key here. And these are the big content types that you could choose, but which is going to be best for you? Blogs are basically dead now because AI just answers questions directly. What about podcasts? I love them personally, and I've actually hired probably 5 different consultants and coaches just because I listen to their shows. But the problem is, they have pretty much zero discovery mechanism built in. No algorithm showing your episodes to new people, and they don't really push your new episodes to existing listeners unless they've subscribed. You're just always kind of hoping someone randomly finds you. And vertical videos, TikToks, Reels, Shorts. Sure, they can be really great for views, but stats have shown they almost never lead to clients or sales. So what's left here that actually works? Long-form video. More specifically, 8 to 15 minute long YouTube videos. YouTube's different from all those other options. It's the second largest search engine in the world, which means people are actively looking for solutions to their problems there. The algorithm actually shows your videos to new people who've never heard of you before. Then, if they watch one, they're usually going to show them another and another and another. And viewers who watch even just a few of your videos are pre-warming themselves to your expertise and to you as a human being. They're investing real time getting to know you and understanding how you think, seeing how you solve problems. And that's exactly the kind of thing you need to convert those viewers into actual money on the other side of this. So now that we know video works best, let's dive into step 2, figuring out what kinds of videos to make. And I bring this up because there's usually a huge disconnect between the videos that businesses end up making and what their customers would actually watch. And I learned this lesson the hard way because when I started this YouTube channel like 8 years ago, I was a web designer just making videos to try to get new clients. So I thought, let's make videos about web design trends. I mean, I was interested in that, and I thought that potential clients would want to see how to make their websites look more modern and current, and I thought they'd be into that. And honestly, I was getting pretty decent views and feeling like an expert sharing my knowledge with the world, right? Then as I got more and more views, I started noticing little clues from the comments that I was getting on my videos. Turns out my viewers weren't business owners on their way to becoming my clients. They were other web designers looking for tips how to do their job better for their clients. And it's not just me who got this wrong. I've got a student in my YouTube program. She's a jewelry designer, and she takes people's old antique jewelry and makes custom pieces out of them. So when she came to me, she was making videos of things like her jewelry making process, and even worse, jewelry repair tutorials. And it was pretty easy to spot why videos like that weren't translating into buyers for her jewelry. Her ideal customer doesn't want to watch metal being soldered for 20 minutes. They don't want to learn how to fix a clasp. Her audience was just kind of more into the style part of it. So we just completely pivoted her content. So instead of those process videos, she started making style videos, like how to pair vintage jewelry with modern fashion, or how to layer antique necklaces, what different colored stones mean, stuff like that. Now viewers come for those style tips, and somewhere along the way, they say,
"Oh, I'd buy that."
So it's all about finding the content direction with a lot of overlap between what you charge money for and what your ideal customer would be interested in watching. So how do you find your real content direction? Here's my framework for that. So first, the Xanax test. What is giving your ideal customer the most anxiety that you could take away for them? Not what you think they should care about, what actually makes them anxious. Second, look at the questions that they ask before hiring you, not after. Those pre-sale questions show you what they would be typing into the YouTube search bar. You know, the post-sale questions, those are for your client portal, not for your YouTube channel. Third, study their vocabulary. This is huge. Your clients don't use your industry jargon. They don't necessarily know what conversion rate optimization means. They just know that their website sucks and nobody's buying their stuff. So you'd be much better off making the video how to fix your website so people buy instead of how to increase your conversion rate. You could make 100 perfect videos and still fail if you don't have the right content mix. There's a specific combination of content types that actually converts viewers into clients, and if you get this wrong, you'll either attract nobody or you'll attract a bunch of the wrong people, and either way, you don't get paid. So let's break this down. I like to think of videos in terms of how zoomed in or zoomed out they are. Now there are two basic zoom levels that together are going to give you the best viewer mix. Zoomed in videos are super specific. They solve one defined problem. Like if you're a parenting coach, how to stop your toddler from throwing food at dinner, or if you're a bookkeeper, how to categorize Venmo transactions in QuickBooks. A tennis instructor could do fix your serve toss in 5 minutes. You make enough videos like these, and you're gonna attract a good number of people who are searching for answers to specific issues. And these people are usually closer to being ready to pay somebody. Zoomed out videos cast a wider net. These are your broader overview topics. So that same parenting coach might create the ultimate guide to feeding your toddler. The bookkeeper makes setting up QuickBooks for your online business. The tennis instructor creates tennis fundamentals for beginners. These kind of videos attract people earlier in their journey, still kind of exploring, not sure what specific help they need yet. By creating those zoomed in and zoomed out videos, you're building a content library where different people can enter at different points based on where they are in their journey. The person who started with a specific problem might watch broader content later to fill in their gaps, whereas the person who started broad might go on to find your specific videos as they learn more and their needs get clearer. Now within these zoom levels, you can create all kinds of different video formats, lists, how-tos, tutorials, comparisons, case studies. Any of these can be either zoomed in or zoomed out, right? A list video could be broad, like 10 signs you need a bookkeeper, or specific, like 5 QuickBooks mistakes that trigger IRS audits. A how-to could be broad, like how to sleep train your toddler, or specific, like how to handle the 18-month sleep regression. These utility videos, the how-tos, the lists, the tutorials, they're your workhorses. They're great for being found by new people because they literally search for this stuff. They type these exact problems into YouTube all day. But here's what separates the channels that just get views from the channels that get paid. As you grow, you need to add another type of video to the mix. Thought leadership is where you stop being just another person with helpful information and become the expert with actual wisdom. So instead of just how to manage your money, you make why everything you've been told about budgeting is wrong. Instead of 5 parenting tips, you create worried you're a bad parent? Here's the truth. And instead of just another golf technique video, you share what 20 years of teaching golf taught me about failure. These kind of videos showcase your unique perspective, your experience, your controversial opinions. Anyone can ask AI for a quick answer, but if they want a true opinion from an expert that they trust, these videos prove that you're not just regurgitating what everyone else says, you actually know something they don't. So when you're first starting out, I would focus 100% on utility content. Be helpful, solve problems, get found. But as you grow, you want to start ramping up toward about a 50-50 mix of utility to thought leadership type videos. And I'd say somewhere around the 6 to 9 month mark. So now it's time to get more specific and decide on the actual topics and titles of these videos. The old way of doing this was brutal. You had to have expensive tools, hours of manual research, or let's be real, you'd probably just be guessing about what might work, right? And take it from someone who's worked with hundreds of new YouTubers, even your best guesses are gonna waste a lot of time. It's not your fault, it's just guessing's not the way to go here. But there is a way to know exactly what's gonna work before you create anything. And it's not magic, it's AI that goes straight to YouTube's actual data. And the secret to making this work is turning on agent mode, which lets ChatGPT literally go to YouTube on its own virtual computer and just start typing things into the search bar to see how YouTube auto-completes that search phrase. Each of these autocompletes are real things that people search for on YouTube. So you just have to give it as much information as you can give it about your business, like what services you provide, what problems you solve, and tell it as much as you can about your ideal clients too. Then just ask it to give you 52 topic and title combos that your ideal clients would be searching for right now on YouTube at all stages of the buyer's journey. Zoomed in, zoomed out, and a good mix of how-tos, lists, and opinion-based thought leadership style videos. And I say 52 specifically because that's a video for every week of the year, right? And you could ask for even more, and then you'd have some choices and you can make some cuts. That's up to you. Now, I do have a pretty amazing mega prompt that my team and I have literally put over a month into that does this perfectly, and that's only available inside my YouTube to Clients Academy Experience program. So if you're interested in that, the link is in the description below. But you can still do a version of this by just asking it for everything that we went over. And here's what this AI agent does that you'd have a really hard time doing manually. It finds videos that are actually succeeding in search right now. It balances competition levels so that you're not just gonna lose out to the mega players in your niche. It makes sure that you have that perfect mix of video types that we talked about, and it creates search-based titles. And your output should just be 2 columns. Column 1 is the overall topic based on what people actually type into YouTube. Then column 2 is the actual list of titles that contain the search phrases, but make them a little, let's say, spicier to make people actually want to click. It doesn't have to be crazy, just something a little bit more interesting than a straight up keyword phrase. Most people think content takes forever because they don't really have any kind of system to speed it up. So when I first started making YouTube videos, I was doing them one at a time, week by week, and I'd barely finish each one in time to publish them. Then I got to start all over again on it the next week. It was really fun. I think I was spending like 2 or 3 days every week on that video, and some months have 5 weeks. So I was spending like 8 to 12 days every month on videos. And I won't say it wasn't worth it, but after about a year doing it that way, I was like, you know what? I kind of hate doing all these separate pieces every week. And I really hated hauling out my camera and lights and completely tearing my office apart every week to record that one video. So I was like, let's do 4 or 5 of these at a time, batching each separate task together. Like I'd spend 2 days writing them all, then I'd record the next day, all 4, then the next day I would edit all of them. So when I did it that way, I got those same 4 videos done in under 1 week out of the month. I wasn't suddenly working harder or faster, I just stopped wasting time on task switching. And if you've never heard that phrase before, it's just where your brain takes about 30 minutes to fully settle into a new type of task to where you're really locked into it and being productive. So when you're constantly switching, your mental power from brainstorming to writing to filming to editing, you're basically spending half your day just warming up. It's the same reason why when you sit down to work in the morning, you need a little bit of a warm up before you're really in the zone. So here's the weekly production schedule that changed everything for me back then. Just pick out 1 week of the month, and this is what that 1 week looks like. Monday, I'd plan out all 4 videos at once, topics, hooks, key points you want to include, stories or experiences you've had that make your videos feel like you've lived it rather than just researched and regurgitated information. You should also start the thumbnail designs either in Canva yourself, or now you can actually use AI thumbnail tools like Pixels that do an amazing job with just a prompt. And you can even train these on your face so that you can be in your thumbnails. It's pretty sweet. Tuesday is writing day, but that's way easier now than when I was starting. Just use ChatGPT or Claude to create outlines for all 4 of your videos based on your planning materials, then have it write first drafts. Again, I'm in one mental mode all day here, writing and structuring. Wednesday is where you'd polish all the scripts. So this is where I'd add in any extra stories or experiences and just tweak the writing so it sounds like me when I'm speaking casually to someone. And I'm in editing mode for everything at once. Fix what needs fixing, add what needs adding, all in one focused session. Thursday is shoot day. This is the big one. So all 4 of my videos get filmed in one session here, and it takes me about 1 or 2 hours now that I've got practice, but it might take you longer when you're new, and that's totally expected. And I love doing this all in one day now because I only have to get myself and my office camera ready once, set up the lighting once, get in the right mental space one time. Then I just kind of ride that energy wave through all 4 videos. Friday, you can edit all 4 videos, or if you have an editor, just ship all 4 with any editing notes you have. And by the way, I do recommend outsourcing your editing as soon as you can afford to. You can find really decent and affordable editors on places like Fiverr or Upwork for about 50 bucks a video. And if you can afford that, it's money well spent because you probably don't want or need to learn editing along with all these other new skills. And honestly, editing is the biggest thing here that you don't need to do yourself. You should be the one coming up with the content, and you definitely should be the one on camera. This part doesn't really need you. Now let's talk about step 6, repurposing your videos for maximum mileage. But I gotta be honest here, most repurposing is a complete waste of time unless you're really smart about it. You know, all the marketing gurus out there tell you to
repurpose everything, everywhere.
Be omnipresent.
Every single platform.
Maximum exposure.
So I fell for all that and I hired a VA to create, 30 Pinterest pins a day and another VA to cut TikTok and Instagram clips. Months of work, thousands of pieces of content across every platform imaginable. And I got pretty much 0 results. No clients, no course sales, nothing. So here's what I learned there. Every minute you spend on low impact platforms is a minute not spent on the high impact stuff. So here's my smart multiplication method. Yes, one video can become multiple pieces, but you've got to be strategic about where you repurpose. First, know where your best clients actually hang out outside of YouTube. Is what you talk about non-visual? Then it could probably easily become a podcast on Spotify and Apple. Are you more B2B? Your people are probably on LinkedIn, so maybe use AI to turn your video scripts into LinkedIn articles. Now let's talk about short form video, and here's the honest truth. It's great for attention, not so great for conversions, but if you're in enough places with enough clips, some viewers are just naturally gonna follow you back to your longs and eventually become customers. And what I really do like about short form is just how repurposable it actually is, meaning you can put the same short clips pretty much everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, even LinkedIn, even Pinterest of all places. And people will tell you that every platform, has a bit of a different culture and the style is different from TikTok to Instagram to wherever, but that's much more about entertainment and trend-based videos. When you're just teaching tips, those little differences between platforms really don't matter that much. So if you're gonna do short form, your goal should be to automate it as much as you possibly can. So use an AI tool like Opus Clip to automatically find the best clips for you, the ones that make sense without any additional context, and then just publish those everywhere. And there are even AI agents that you can set up that'll do all of this for you behind the scenes. It's a little more advanced, but you can probably find out how to do it on YouTube. Just set it up once and let it run. But how do you actually make your weekly videos with as little effort as possible while still bringing in big time results? Well, this next video is going to show you exactly how low effort content is absolutely blowing up businesses right now, and what to focus on the most so that your videos bring in business but don't burn you out in the process. So click right here and I'll show you the exact method that works. See you there in a second.